Well, hello everyone. Welcome again to SkateProud chat. Today we're gonna have Maé Méité Berenice. She's from France, Olympic figure skater, and I'm so excited because she's also a very good friend of mine. So don't forget again to click the question button to ask May anything you want because we will be answering at the end of the chat. So yeah, in the meantime, until May join us, talk a little bit about her. She's uncountable times national champion and 2 times Olympic competitor, and she is here. So I'm gonna get May on board. Connecting. And here you are. Hi May, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
So good to see you. I'm so excited.
You too.
You're looking great.
Thank you. Looking handsome too.
On fire.
We try.
So yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. May, you are like an amazing figure skater, Olympian, a very good friend of mine. We've grown throughout the years. Like we've been to so many competitions together and we've shared so many experiences. So I'm so excited to have you here supporting the LGBTQ plus community as a friend, as an ally, and also to talk about all what's been happening these past weeks and days and about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think all we want to do is hear you and, learn from you. So why don't we start a little bit about your life, your skating, how the everything began when you were little. So you're from Paris, and I mean skating. How common it is in France? I think it has a bigger history than in Spain. You guys had a lot of figure skating champions throughout the years, and what did motivate you to join the sport?
Sorry. What motivated me to do the sport?
Yeah.
So many things. Because, well, first, I didn't choose to do that sport. I think the sport chose me. Because it was just that I went with school. I loved it, did it. And I didn't even know about Surya before or anything. I just went because I loved it. I love to be free. And I would say my biggest motivation now is the determination to have a voice, to be able to speak for my people, to be able to represent them, to be able to fight for them, for all the minorities, because with the platform that we have a bigger voice. We can express ourselves properly. We can do so much. And that's my biggest motivation because I know that if one day I can get at least one medal, if more, that would be awesome. For me, of course, I would be happy. Everybody would be happy to have a medal to be able to represent your country. But then you will also have the platform and the power necessary to really make a change for the causes that you really care about.
Yeah,
I think that's
and I think it's something that the past days we've all seen. Recently, you had a live chat with Kira Corpi, addressing all the movement of Black Lives Matter, and you are on top of all that. I did listen the entire live chat, and I learned a lot about you and about the movement. And I think I would like you to tell us a little bit more. So I want to go to actually this beautiful video you posted that it was, something really touching, very deep of you. And like, uh, I have a little piece here I want to play in the meantime. So I want you to tell me while we see it, what was the thing that, made you do this video? What was the motivation, and what did you want to really express and transmit to the people to make us understand what was going on, what was happening? And you did it in such a beautiful way that, so yeah, tell us a little bit what happened.
so. I'm actually gonna do a YouTube video about that. I'm gonna explain the whole phase that I've been through for the past 2 weeks, because it was deeper than I thought it would get me. But the behind that video was all my anger and the frustration that I had, the sadness, uh, the rebellion, the rebellious part of me that never
Yeah,
expressed herself. But
the
now, like,
activism, right?
yeah, I need to say something, because I was always waiting for the right moment, the right time, the right opportunity to say something. Now I was like, I cannot just stay silent, because that's something that really touches me. You can see my skin color. I'm black. The guy who was murdered was black. So many black people were killed for no reasons. And that's something that really I care deeply about, not since 2 weeks ago or a month ago, but like for years. I've been caring about that. And I was just so confused, frustrated, sad. Like, how can a human being do that to another human being when we're all made of flesh and blood? How is that possible? And I was like, if I talk to a camera, I know, because of everything that I have, all the emotions that I have going on, I won't be able to express myself properly. But I know how to dance. I know how to. I love to write. I love music. So how can I put all that together? How can I use the words and create something that will be impactful, meaningful, that people could understand really everything that we feel like we have been feeling for so many years. So that's how I created that.
Yeah, I feel with this video, every time I watch it, I get goosebumps, and I'm like, I feel it so deep. I think what you were able to do with this video is transmit something in a way that everybody could feel, not just understand, but
Yeah.
also feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you are a friend of mine for so many years. I've always admired you, and you know, uh, I've always root for you. And is like this time is I was able to see a bit deeper through all this, story, and everything that you probably been through your life, discrimination and racism. And it's something that, you know we don't really stop to think about it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this last week, it's been a good time in our lives to stop, learn, and listen.
Yes.
And it is very important what you're doing nowadays, for your community. And yeah, we are here because we want to learn from you as a figure skater, as a black figure skater. And it's really an unrepresented minority in this sport. And this is where I want to get to as well. Why do you think so? Why do you think there's less people of color in figure skating? That comes from a history. It comes from, a long time ago, probably. And
Mm-hmm.
also something very interesting that I was, listening from the chat you had with Kira. What you said, I think, was very interesting. France, you guys have a very mixed team, which
Mm-hmm.
you are very proud of, and
Yeah.
it's true. And if you see, in compared to other countries,
Mm-hmm.
you guys come from all different places and
Yep.
different color of skin, and like you guys feel so united. And it's
Mm-hmm.
something that, yeah, I want to listen from you. I want you to tell us, like, how that happens. How do you think, why France is able to do that with the
Mm-hmm.
skating team and probably other sports?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in France, for me, it's something we always do, because in pretty much all the sports, all I see is, well, mainly diversity. Of course, they might be more maybe white people or something, but I've always been around diversity. So for me in France, that was never an issue, because if people remember, at some point we were two leaders, black female, in the French field. Um, yeah, as you said, we have people from all origins, like Adam, Florent, Shafik, Vanessa, Yannick, myself. We're coming from everywhere. So for us, it wasn't, to me, it's not something France really has to think about because that's something that's here already.
Yeah.
But the big difference to why we don't see that much Black people or people of color at the higher level is because it's a very big investment, time, energy, money. And most of the time, either the people don't have the finances to do so or they don't have the support to eventually go further. And especially in the US, where the system is completely different than France, where in France we have group lessons. I think in Spain it's the same.
Yeah.
We have
Europe
group
kind of works
lessons.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit less expensive too for people to start something in Europe. Whereas
Yeah.
in the US, if you don't have already the finances and
It
everything,
becomes a bit more elitist, let's say.
exactly. It's
Like
like,
you need to have like, you know, as you said, finances and like invest so much. And some of our families, I wouldn't be able to have reached the international level if I was in North America, I would say,
yeah.
uh, at the really beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's a big investment anyways for figure skating, it's a really expensive sport. But yeah, I beside that, do you think there is the other factor, you know, the racism and, you know, the all these like obstacles throughout the way that even though maybe coming from Europe made your career a little bit more difficult to
Well,
get to? Did you have to work harder, will you say, and like push yourself to limits to really achieve and say, you know, I'm here because I deserve it?
well, I can't say I faced racism because I did not, but I did face some discrimination from
Mm.
from what I feel because I if you look at me, I'm very athletic, and that's not the vision people have of a figure skater. Usually, it's like very thin, very tall, elongated, and white, mostly. So already I come in and I'm like, boom, here I am. So I know that I cannot do mistakes because if I do mistakes, then those will cost me a lot of points. And we know points are essential. We need those points.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
So this is, so what you're saying is like, even up to today, you know, you are in a more vulnerable position competing,
I know.
and it's not
Well,
fair.
that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I know
And
it's not fair.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
can see that. And it is, it isn't fair because there is, you know, this ideal of a figure skater that, and then that kind of like make you think that's the only option,
Mm-hmm.
or like that's what is generalized,
Yeah.
and it's not correct.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is harder for you, and it's something that it needs to be, it has to be changed.
Yeah.
It has to be
But
changed.
that's where my strength comes from because I'm like, since I was little, my parents always told me, you're a woman, you would have to work twice as hard. You're a black woman, you will have to work 4 times more than everybody else. I know that. So that's a mindset. But then that's my strength because I won't give up just because it's hard, just because the situation is not as comfortable as I would like it to be. And that's where I learned too about myself, about the world, about how to fight for the things I really want. So maybe with everything going on, mentality are going to change, and maybe they're going to open up their vision of what figure skating should look like because it shouldn't be a pattern, like a set pattern, but it should be, we should all embrace what everybody has to offer. Like you can express yourself different than I do, and Vanessa, and who else? Um, Evgenia. I don't know. Like everybody has a way to express themselves, but it doesn't mean that because it's not something you know that it's not something good. And again, our sport is very difficult because it's up to everybody's judgment.
Yeah, because we're
Not
talking
everybody's
about,
gonna like the same thing.
yeah, it's about these stereotypes
Yeah.
that we gotta break.
Yeah.
That it is something that the stereotype makes you believe this is what it should be,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no other way.
Yeah.
And it's something that we need to all change and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like learn from what's happening.
Yep.
And coming to, like when you were like younger, you talked like Surya was an inspiration for you as a figure skater because she really pushed the figure skating to limits, and like they tried to change, and that probably helped you as a
Yeah.
younger figure skater and motivated you. It gave you an example growing
Well,
up.
she faced racism. I wasn't there when it happened, but to me, she faced racism, and she broke walls for us, Vanessa, Star, myself, and other young black girls,
Yeah,
to be able to have a little bit more freedom because she didn't have the freedom that we have already today, and maybe we are breaking something for the girls coming up after us. Now, when I was younger, I have to admit I did not like to watch skating. I really loved doing skating, but I never watched it.
I think I was like you, like the
Yeah,
same. I did not really watch it, but yeah.
yeah. But then eventually, when you grow up, you start to know the star skaters in your country. You go see their shows, and then of course, seeing Surya was like, oh wow, she's just like me, very athletic. She's black. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. She can do the black backflip, blah blah blah. She can still jump. She's amazing. So of course, that's a good motivation because then you have an example, and
Yeah,
one person can change the life of so many people. And how many young black kids could look up to her and be like, oh, she's just like me. Oh, she can jump. Oh, she was at the Olympics. Oh, she was European champion. Oh my God, she did all that. Yes, she can do it. So maybe I can do it. And just that maybe I can do it is already a step for them to have a little bit more trust in themselves and really be more comfortable and be like, I should not be ashamed or scared to go there. I should just go and enjoy and come what may. And if I succeed, amazing. If I don't succeed as much as I would love to, but I did my best, great. But at least we have that example, and we are trying to be an example too for younger kids because, yeah, we're not that many. At the last Olympics, we were only two in figure skating, Vanessa and myself, and we're proud of that. We're proud to be
of course.
maybe an example for young kids. And when I see young little girls running up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love you," it warms my heart because I'm like, oh, okay, we don't realize. Well, personally, I don't really realize the impact that representation can have on younger kids until I meet them and I see the stars in their eyes, and I'm like, oh
Their
wow,
smile, yeah.
yeah, it's just amazing. So I'm like,
It's so
we're
rewarding. It is
yeah,
so rewarding, yeah.
it's more rewarding than a medal, I would say, because you motivate someone to chase their dreams, and that's something
Yeah.
so empowering.
This kid look up to you, and you are you are a role model for them. And not just that, you're also like, defending a cause, and you're like representing a minority in this
Yeah,
sport.
yeah.
So yeah, as you said, only two figure skaters
Mm-hmm.
at the Olympics. It is at the figure skating, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sport at the Olympics. The last Olympics is crazy to think
Yeah,
about it. It's
it is.
yeah, there's a lot of work that need to be done in that, and I'm sure you're already doing because I know you're working hard these days in
Oh yeah,
projects and
oh
stuff.
yes. We
So
are working
I'm
hard on.
excited to see what's gonna come out of
Yeah,
that.
yes, yes.
Yeah. I'm talking about minorities and like racism and discrimination. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about discrimination.
Yeah.
That's where we connect as a
Mm-hmm.
communities.
Yep.
And what happens with the LGBTQ plus community?
Mm-hmm.
Even up to few days ago,
Yep.
within the figure skating world, we still suffer discrimination coming from an Olympic champion.
It's
which
just, it's very
it's
sad.
very unfortunate. It's, it's something that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And this is why this project and the community needs to work together and support one another, support uh, people of color, figure skaters, support the LGBTQ plus community, and like, you know, help one another, support one another, and stop discrimination, stop this ignorance, racism. You know, we need to be more inclusive, diverse sport. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, um, and this is also why you're here today, because you are a good friend, you're an ally of the community.
Yep.
And like, so as like you are being an activist for, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement, like you're also feeling this community, you're also feeling what's SkateProud about and what all the work we are doing. And like, so I want you to tell me a little bit what this means to you, like what the LGBTQ plus community means to you, your figure skating friends that are part of it, and how do you support them? What, you know, like what do you think we as a community can change together?
Well, to me, well, first off, I don't see people by their gender, by their religion, by their skin color, by their sexual orientation, because to me, I see the soul. Like, if I love talking to you, I don't care if you're in that community or this one. I just
Yeah,
like talking to you. I don't see anything else. So that's the first point. And I think that altogether, minorities like the LGBTQ plus community, the Black people, people of colors, but also with the white people, the Asian people, all the majority of our sport and in society in general, if we can unite all together and have a discussion like we're having right now, and like I think people are having everywhere, to really understand each point and everything that's not working properly in the system. Like for figure skating, we have to sit down, and the what happened earlier this week, it's unacceptable, and there should be rules against that. And if you're caught in the act, then repercussions. That's
exactly.
something that should be mandatory, for example. Because if we have repercussions for other stuff, why this is not included? Because you are attacking a human lives, like human rights,
You're
basically.
attacking a community and
And
the figure skaters that
exactly. So I'm like,
yeah,
this should not be allowed. Simply, basically, period.
it
Because
should be, they should take actions on that. Yeah,
exactly. So I think by defining rules, by putting them on paper, by making them official, and by taking actions for everything that's done and that's wrong against communities, people, everything that has to do with the subject that we're talking about right now. Um, it has to be taken into account, and repercussions should be given whenever it needs to be done, because
it
we
is
said
true.
enough.
There's a lot of things need to be done and to fix all these, and later on to help the minorities, and like all these projects we are doing, you're doing on your side, we as a community, you know, we need this institutional help from our international federation, Olympics, and others big sport institutions.
Yep.
And it's really important that we finally, you know, speak up to that, you know, put our voices out there, and that they support us, you know, actively. And yeah, I think we are going through a phase where there's a lot of changes, a lot of things happening. I think it's been such an interesting past 2 weeks. You know, like a lot of things that we are learning, and that we really feel finally and understand. We are getting to know all this deep problem that is not being solved, that is still carries for years,
Yep.
and it still and
Intricate
affects the
even.
sport, affects the
Yeah.
sport. And like there is a lot that we as athletes, that we can, and we have a voice, we work towards this, and like, you know, help the sport, help other figure skaters. You know, this is a very important job for our future generations.
Yeah.
And this is something that I'm really excited for you, because I know you're working really hard. And so I'm just so excited to see what's gonna come up after all this that we're talking about. Yeah, and like there here we want to go to another part within the LGBTQ plus community. If we go back in history, a bit more than 50 years ago, in Stonewall, that's when all the riots started. It was the, you know, the first like riots, and that they were like fighting for the LGBTQ plus rights. And there, the people of color, black people, black trans women, had a big role.
Yep.
And there is an iconic person that we were talking about it.
Johnson.
Say it again.
Marsha P. Johnson.
So if we were like talking about it, I wanted to bring it up here, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about, you know, what she did and how important was, you know, this black transgender woman during this period that we have to thank so much.
She basically she stood up for lesbian, gay, transgender people's right, and she did a sit-in, if I'm not wrong. She did a sit-in and protested to basically be accepted by society, because enough is enough, and she was like, well, I have rights too, so you're gonna have me in your society, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna sit here until we have rights. That's what she did, and eventually it worked. And actually she was part of a minority into a minority, because she's transgender. So back in the day, they had some issues too being accepted by the lesbian and gay community. So she was fighting so many things.
Transgender, black, inside already minority.
So
it's
she was
like
a minority in a minority in a minority.
And think about this 50 years ago.
No, it's just impossible to.
If right now there's all these problems in North
Yeah.
America, especially in the USA, and this happening in New York,
Yeah.
in Stonewall, it's a really brave act.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like, thanks to that, nowadays we can say we have same rights in a lot of countries, and we can celebrate pride. Yep. And we can, you know, we are represented. Although there is a lot of work to do in a lot of countries, that it's not that we are just like not even existent. Yeah. No rights, no nothing. Even it's a dangerous position.
Yeah.
Can go to jail, can be killed. Yeah. It is crazy to think about it. And so that's why, yeah, it is very important this month of June, the month of Pride, and throughout all the year. We gotta celebrate, but we also need to fight. We also need to keep working into this, you know, into the community, and like to fight for those who can't. And I think that's where really we can connect. We're talking about diversity, inclusion, respect about these minorities. And this is something that it needs to be addressed outside in real life, within the sport. And this is something that with your projects with this project. We
Yeah.
are trying our best
Mm-hmm.
as figure skaters. We are putting our voice out there, and we're not afraid. We want to do this because we truly believe in this, and
Yeah.
we want to help.
We've been afraid for long enough. Now we are finally doing what we wanted to do for so long, and we were scared not to be heard. Like the biggest problem is that even when you want to talk, are you going to be listened to? Are people going to listen to what you have to say? That's the problem, because sometimes you can speak, but are they going to listen? Are they going to understand your
Are they
story?
gonna say yes, 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 but do nothing? Or are they
Exactly.
gonna say they support you, as I said before, behind the scenes?
Yeah.
No, we need this to be actively there. Put a name. We support people of color, Black people community. We support the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to put it that way. And
Exactly.
you are against any discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a discrimination, and even coming within another athlete or like Olympic champion, there's something needs to be done. And whether you like it or not, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Going to your life, going to the figure skating and your life. So throughout all these years, you moved from France
Mm-hmm.
to the USA.
Mm-hmm.
You did have a change of life, change of country. You come from France. I always had this picture of France being a very forward country,
Mm-hmm.
accepting country, equal, and then that's like, I don't know if you say the slogan of the country, that what you could you say actually what it is, like equalite and
Liberté, égalité, fraternité. So it's like freedom, equality, and brotherhood. That's,
perfect.
yeah.
So what do you are we talking that is this happening in France, or is just a cover?
I wouldn't say I cannot say it's a cover, but the situation in France is as bad as the one in the US.
Uh-huh.
Except that people don't have the right to carry guns with them. So that's the only thing that's different. Other than that, discrimination is here.
It's
Police brutality.
happening.
Yes, it's pretty much happening right now. Like two groups of people, around like approximately 9,000 people, police officer mainly, are on those private groups on Facebook and WhatsApp, and basically they have racist, homophobic, against women. They say all kind of stuff. You
This is
don't
we're
even
talking
want
about
to.
in France,
In France, actually, right now, that's going
in
on
like
right now.
Facebook groups of people that work for the government to protect you and
Exactly, and in
to
those
make
groups,
sure.
they say that they don't want to protect um, people of color or minorities because they don't deserve it. We're just gonna sit here and eat the popcorn while watching them kill themselves. So then our planet will be regenerated with like only white people. Their animals. Like you cannot even imagine how
that
harsh
is
all that
that is
is.
crazy.
Yeah.
This is like,
So in France, it's not better.
yeah, well, I was also wanted to ask you. I mean, of course, I'm a bit surprised, to be honest. I thought it was a better situation, but what you're saying, yeah. And then when you moved to United States,
Hmm.
you moved for training to
Yeah.
get to a different level in international
Hmm.
competitions and to improve. But it's a sacrifice. You're away from your family. Like, we have taken that risk, but it's also a positive change to grow, to learn, to be better in all the
Yeah.
aspects of your life.
Yep.
And how it's been your life in the USA? What would you say, like, that you've lived all this situation from actually this country. And I heard the story, you know, that when you're driving a car, you have been already working in your mind, how would you act if you're stopped by a cop? And like, I was like really like shocked listening to this other live chat with Kira. I'm like, it is unbelievable that you like I know you. Like I'm like thinking, how is this possible that you have to go through this thought process and like be ready for something like that? And like, of course, would you? I mean, that's why I'm saying I don't know if that's the case when you're in France or is that bad. That's, I mean, but it's still when like you move to the USA, then you had to even go through a deeper, you know, like recession when it comes to all to your life, when it comes to your security. And so what did you have to face moving to the USA?
I didn't face anything. Like, I'm very lucky, knocking on wood. The experience I have right now is amazing. I've always had amazing host families to have me, whether it was in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in Florida right now. Amazing. Now, the only thing I'm really scared about is the fact that people can carry guns. So I, like, sometimes I road rage. Like, when I drive and someone cuts me off, I'm like, what are you doing? In France, I can hug and stuff. Here, I try to be very careful because you never know. If someone has a gun, they can shoot you. You never know. You don't know people. You don't know people. So I'm like, better being safe than sorry. Then when I drive the car, that's true. That's true. That's something I have in my mind because I don't know if you've seen the videos of black people being pulled over. They didn't do anything, and they're still being shot. So I'm like, I have to be ready and prepared. Like my hands will be held like that. Like I want them because you see me physically, and I'm a strong person. So they might think maybe she's gonna attack us. Maybe she's gonna do something. I don't know what's going on in their brain, but since they can shoot faster than they ask questions, I'd rather be like, I'm not gonna do anything, and I'm not gonna move until I tell you what I'm doing right now, and when you give me the authorization to move, then I'm gonna move. Before that, I'm not gonna move. My hands are gonna stay here, so then you can see them. Don't want no problem. Don't want no issue. So yeah, that's something I've been working on. But other than that, I have to say my experience in the US has been just amazing. I did not have any issues, but that's always in the back of my mind.
But I think it's about living with a bit of fear, and that is not healthy. That is not fair.
But I mean, to us, it's not different. Like, I mean, we have to be careful as black people about whatever we say, how we present ourselves, because the image you portray sometimes can be taken differently or wrongly. So we're always on the lookout. And so to me, it's nothing. It's a little bit more. I'm
nothing
like, okay,
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is shocking to hear this. It is shocking, honestly, and it's something that's why it's been so important these past weeks to learn and to get under your skin, to understand.
Yeah.
Understand what's going on, and to realize there is a lot of things that need to be changed. And like just by having this conversation, May, you're really helping so much to understand two big things, two big movements: the Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Life Matters, and the LGBTQ plus community.
Yep.
We are facing a lot of similar things in a different way, but we have similar goals. We want to, you know, be respected. We want to, in sport, we want to, you know, be more represented and be supported by our institutions, and to do things, to take action, you know, to work on it for real. So yeah, it's really interesting what we've been talking about, and I think it is a good time that maybe we go over a few questions that
Mhm.
people were, leaving here.
Yes.
So we give them a little bit of time.
No problem.
There were some interesting ones. Um, so, did you ever experience racism within the ice skating community? You
No
said you did experience
discrimination.
discrimination.
But racism is really like an act of hatred, and to my knowledge, I've never experienced that within our community. Now, some fans, if I may call him or her that way, one time on a forum or on Facebook, I don't know, she said I looked like a monkey or something. Like she made a very dumb comment. But other than that,
Did you mention what was that? Sorry.
that was on Facebook. It was a long time ago. I can't remember when. Someone said that I looked like a monkey or I was a monkey because I was black, and I was that was very ignorant from that person. Of course, it hurt me a lot, but right now I'm just like, you know what? You're just ignorant. If you think so, that's your problem, not mine. I don't have time for that. That's the only time I really heard of racism, and that's not within our community. That's someone watching. So
From outside, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we have here also positive comments. You're so beautiful. Please never give up. Which is very cute. Um, this is interesting. Does she think that the judges are still, even in our day, influenced by the color of the skin or the sexual orientation of the skaters?
I'm not
So
in my
the figure skating judges,
yeah.
or I will say, in general, figure skating is affected. The judging is affected by that, by the color, or
I cannot pronounce myself because I'm not in their mind. I don't know what they think. But looking at the results and the scores and what we see, sometimes maybe people can be again discriminated because maybe of the way they skate and it's not what they think should skating should look like, or it's not something usual, it's not something common, or because they're more artistic because they're men, so maybe they don't fit in their what they call like what they
so leading to the stereotypes, basically,
yeah. So
because yeah.
yeah, a little bit maybe I would say yeah, maybe there's a little bit of stereotypes still ingrained in the judges system, and hopefully with all that that's going to change too, because why not.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects that
Mm-hmm.
you can see
Mm-hmm.
differently from a skater
Yeah.
that should contribute to the judging and the scores,
Mm-hmm.
and not just the average
Yeah.
standard. Yeah, and let me check a few more what they have around here. We talked about this, like how do you get into ice skating,
Yes.
and yeah. So going to related to this the LGBTQ plus community,
Mm-hmm.
do you think ice skating as a sport is inclusive for our community?
Should I talk about the institution or the skaters?
You can do a little bit of a review of everything.
Well, for me, the skaters, from what I've seen and experienced, they don't have any problems with your orientation. Like, frankly,
At the international level, yeah.
who cares? Like at the international level, they don't. We don't care. Like we don't. Again, we don't see color or orientation. We see the people. Like you are amazing on the ice. I love how you express yourself. I love that jump that you did. Oh my God, you broke history. You made history. That's
Yeah.
what we look for. We don't look for, oh my gosh, oh, I know I cannot talk to you because you're part of that community. You're No, we don't do that. Like, I don't know if you've experienced that, but honestly, for me personally, never. So I don't think all skaters are like that. Of course, there are exceptions. We've seen that earlier this week. But to me, it's ignorance because we're human being. We're all the same race. Like if people can understand that you have a heart, some skin that covers your full body. We have muscles, blood. We need oxygen to breathe. From what I know, we're all made the same. So,
It's true.
like, after that, like, my skin color is black, and so what? You breathe the same air as I breathe. So, who cares?
I
Like,
love it.
who cares? He's gay, he's transgender, or she's transgender, she's a lesbian, they're bi, whatever. We breathe the same air. So at the end of the day, we're all human. So it should not matter what you want to do with your body, how you want to be called, the gender that you are, who you are.
How
It
you
doesn't
identify.
matter.
Exactly. It is so great what you just said, and it's so funny, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And it is, yeah, it's, I think within the skaters at the high level, one thing that it's good that we've traveled the world,
Yeah.
been to so many different countries, and
Mhm.
shared a lot with people from different countries,
Yeah.
cultures,
Mhm.
education. And I did not never really feel at the international level a discrimination.
Mhm.
But it is true that obviously you can connect better with people. Like you can feel the support with more with some skaters than others. But when it comes to competition, we are really focused on what we're doing, and
Mhm.
I think it's through my years, it's been a really good experiences overall. But it's true, we need to. We have cases like what just happened these last days
Mhm.
from an Olympic figure skater, and there's a lot of like countries that are not accepting and not supportive, but the worst part is that they don't respect. So this is where the institutions have a bigger work
Well,
to do.
yeah.
And this is like what if you like when I review that part too, like is it, have they done enough up to this day, or there's a lot of things that need to be done
It's
still?
like in all the countries, they now people are really seeing how America was built. They start to understand history. They start to understand the system. They start to understand why black people were in that situation. And so for the bigger institutions, figure skating, it's the same. They have to understand where we come from, what's going on, what's happening, what they did up until up until today, and what are the actions they can take. So then we are all feeling free, safe, uh, and we can breathe freely and do express ourselves the way we want because that's what we're here for, to skate and express ourselves. Now what they do in their personal lives or where they comes from, this has nothing to do with the talent that we're putting out there. So you should not be discriminated on anything, but you should not be discriminated because of that. It makes no sense. So they should really, really sit down, observe, listen, understand, and take actions. Now is the time.
That
Because
is true.
then it's going to be too late. It's already too late, but it's better late than never. But if they wait more, because everybody knows it, now we're going to be, maybe you didn't understand where we want to go.
Yeah, this is the moment of change in many aspects. And yeah, so why don't we use this time left we have for
Mm-hmm.
you to educate us just a little bit more on the Black Lives Matter movement? What are you doing? What do you think we should do to educate ourselves? Where do we find resources to learn more about it,
Mm-hmm.
to and also to know what we can do, what to take action and make a change?
So the main, I follow Instagram accounts. So it's Sean King, and basically he would put all the information. He's on top of most of the cases, and he's working really like crazy, crazy, crazy with
Could you repeat his name? Sean?
Sean King. It's like SHAUN King,
Okay.
and he has, I think, the grassroots law project. Um, I have so many accounts. I know the accounts, but I don't have the names.
Well,
But Sean
we
King,
can work on that later. Yeah.
yeah, Sean King's, he has like tons of information. He relays everything that's going on. You have the Black Lives Matter Instagram account. You have Until Freedom Instagram account, and they have website too. You can go on there. You can donate if you can, some of your time, money if you can. You can share the information that you see after reviewing that they're like actual facts. You can keep signing the petitions because this makes a huge, huge impact. If you can go to protests peacefully. You don't need to peacefully. You can go to protest because that helps too. We've seen changes because of the petitions and protests. You can call if you're in the US and even outside for Breonna Taylor's case, for Ahmaud Arbery cases, for like all the cases that are open. You can still call to demand changes and actions to be taken. Um, you can, yeah, there are books you can read, there are movies you can watch, there are documentaries you can watch, so many things. I'll try to put something on my Instagram. I'm trying to gather information so then people can just access them.
Of course.
Already I have highlight stories with like BLM with a US flag and BLM with a French flag, and I put some information that I think are impactful and that can make a change, if that can help people to find resources and stuff. There is a website that listed all the things that you can do if you want to help or if you want to have more awareness about it. Obama did a website about that. I don't remember the full thing, but if you go on his profile or on Michelle's profile, I talk about them as if they were my friends, but whatever. Mr. President and the former First Lady, they created something, so you can go check them out too. If you are in the US, you can go vote. Very important. Now you understand why it's important to vote. You can do the 2020 census because then they know how many people of minorities are in the US and how they can fund basically all the communities. So if you're in the US, don't forget to do that. And wherever you are in the world, it's very important to vote because this is your voice. So do not ever again forget to go vote. Very important.
And then coming to this, there is a lot of pushing forward the Black Trans Lives Matter because even within the Black Lives Matter movement, there is a lot needs to be done towards this minority inside of a minority.
Well, and we as Black people, we have a lot of work to do too. We have to understand each other, love each other, because it's nice to ask others to understand us, but we also have to destroy all the things that were ingrained in us. We have to have a new vision of what the Black community should look like. We should be all united, not only in that moment because of everything that's going on, but all the time. And within the Black community, sometimes I hear some comments and I'm just like, how can you think that about your sister, your brother, whatever? Colorism is something so ingrained in that community too. So within the community, we have to work on so many things, and yeah, we have to work on inclusions because we're Black, so we have to be united. I don't care if you're transgender, lesbian, gay. again, I do not see color. I do not see your sexual orientation. I just see a person. Now, if I like it, if I like you or not, that's another story. But I do not judge you by your skin color or your orientation. And
That
we
is
should all learn as much as we can to love people for who they are and not what they have or um, anything else. You should just love someone or not like someone. But if you don't like someone, it doesn't mean you don't show
you cannot
respect.
respect exactly.
Exactly, because there are some people maybe I don't like in. I don't have more contact with them in figure skating. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna disrespect you.
Yeah,
I'll respect you for all the accomplishments that you've done. I'll respect you for all the work that you're doing. I won't talk to you because I don't have much
a
contact with
friendship.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I respect you, and respect is something that needs to be taught to every single person on that planet because
That's the main. That's the main thing.
yeah,
Exactly. Respect. Well, I respect you, and I really like you as a friend. I love you so much.
me too.
And it's been so much fun having this chat with you. I've learned again so much from you and made me realize many more things of you that I did not know, everything that is happening. And I'm so happy and grateful that you spent today this time with us, with me, and for the LGBTQ plus community and putting, your voice out here. So if you want to say anything to the people who's been watching or will rewatch this later on, it's your time.
So, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me during the Pride Month because we have to be united, all of us. Skating community, people outside of skating world, we all have to be united. It's time that we start working together once and for all because together we are stronger. So we have to understand that. We have to learn about each other, travel if you need to travel so you can understand one's culture. Um, read, listen to music, listen to different music if you want to understand the culture and travel without taking the plane because right now it's not the right time. But um, feel free to connect with something that's different to what you know. Feel free to feel a little bit uncomfortable because that's in comfort that you grow. You
Yeah,
are stronger. You are a better person because, oh, and one thing that's very important, listen to what the other have to say. Don't be like here, pretend to listen, but really thoroughly listen and understand and process and have conversation, really. Let's all take the time to have real heart to heart, raw conversations. And that's how we're going to make that world better. And I love you all. Thank you so much for your kind words and your support. And I hope you liked it.
May, you're so amazing. I love you so much.
I love you
I can't
too.
wait. I can't wait to see you soon. And so please stay healthy,
You too.
stay safe, and keep being yourself because you're
You
amazing.
too. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Love, love.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.